This here is the new Hero Destini 125, and in our book, it is one of the more underrated scooters available in the market today. In the space that it operates in, where you have Suzuki Access and the TVS N-Torque, it's very easy to miss this one. But to miss it might be a mistake. How and why? Well, that's exactly what we're going to tell you in the course of this video. And since nothing is perfect, well, we'll also tell you what the flaws are of the scooter before you buy one. And as always, let's begin with what's good. Now, the Destini isn't your traditional looking scooter, and we've taken a vote in the office and most people like the way it looks. So it's got this combination of champagne and mauve, and you have other colors to choose from as well. So proportions wise, it's a good looking scooter in our book. And then more importantly, when it comes to the build quality of the scooter, everywhere you look, the plastics all around, even the operability of the buttons, there's a crispness to it, which just conveys that this scooter is going to last a long time. And even though you might abuse it, since it's a family scooter, many people in the household might use it, but it seems built to last, and that's a big positive for the scooter. One of the big highlights for the Destini 125 has to be its engine and the CVT. Now, this engine in terms of outright power and torque figures is more par for the course, 9 bhp, close to 10.5 Newton meters of torque. But it is the way it delivers that power, but mostly it is the character of this engine. It is super smooth, very refined, and no matter where you ride it in the speed range, in the RPM range, it just remains smooth. It doesn't have the same sort of sporty exhaust note that you get on the N-Torque, but it's a family scooter. And the point is that you can ride it at slow speeds, you can ride it at high speeds. The engine never seems to struggle with anything. The only time we've felt some amount of vibes is when we're going flat out. With my weight, I'm over 80 kgs. It gets to about 95 kilometers per hour. And at that speed, that's the time when you can feel some vibrations in the scooter. But otherwise, it's just super, super smooth. And one of the reasons, just like we said at the with the build quality, with the operability of the switches, the engine also feels like it's built to last. And then of course the CVT, that engagement, the moment you get on the throttle, again, smooth, effortless, seamless. There are no jerks, nothing of that sort. So overall, riding this scooter, it just feels easy. It feels like it's going to serve you a long time. And then of course there's the fuel efficiency. So it's one of the more fuel efficient 125cc scooters in the market as tested by us. So overall, engine, CVT, great combo. Comfort is a very important aspect when it comes to family scooters. And for that, it begins with what the seating position or the seating ergos or the seating triangle is like. What you essentially want is you want very accessible seat height so that various people in the family can use it. What you also want is the distance between the handlebar and the seat and the floorboard and the seat to be large enough so that it doesn't feel cramped for the taller people in the household. I think the Destini combines this quite well. The fact that it doesn't have a petrol tank under the floorboard means that the distance between the seat and the floorboard is adequate, unlike other scooters that use it, which becomes really cramped. Also, the handlebar is wide, the distance between the seat and the handlebar is good enough. And then, of course, the seat height is low enough for even the shorter members in the family to get on board and use it and comfortably put their feet firmly on the ground. So overall, seating ergos are nice, well thought of. The seat itself too, it's a long seat, so I've put my 6-footer son on board, my wife's been on board, and there's enough and more space at the back too. Plus the seat cushioning, comfort, all that is also right on the ball, and we really don't have any complaints there. Just like the engine and CVT combo, the ride and handling balance on the Destini 125 is a big highlight for the scooter as well, and a strong reason to buy one. Now, we've seen this with almost every new Hero that's come out. They do a wonderful job with the suspension setup. So the ride and handling balance, not just on the Destini, but on their other scooters, motorcycles, has been absolutely on the spot. With the Destini, the bump absorption, the damping, all of that. And we've had some terrible roads in Bombay, those concrete roads with the sharp edges. And this scooter just goes over stuff really well, whether you're riding at slow speeds, whether you're riding with a pillion, whether you're taking these roads at 80 kilometers an hour, it just rides flat through most stuff. So in terms of comfort, in terms of how it handles those bumps, there is no nervousness at all, and it feels very confident. The rear especially is really well set up. The front, the absorption is there. The only negative really, and we've seen this in almost every scooter, not just from Hero but other makes as well, the front tends to vibrate a little if the road is bumpy. It's not excessive, but you can feel it, so it just takes a little bit away from the comfort factor. And I don't know if this is some sort of geometry thing that most Indian scooter makers use, but this is something we felt on almost every scooter. Then you look at the handling, it's got 12-inch wheels, but this scooter feels super light at slow speeds within the city. The way it flicks, the way it goes from left to right, it's so easy to change directions and it feels confident. You can feel what the front is doing, what the rear is doing, so you feel completely in command. And even around the longer corners, when you take the cloverleaf exits on flyovers and you're pinning it and going for it, again, the confidence that the tires inspire, because you can feel everything, the grip levels are high, and overall, this scooter is very communicative and a joy to ride, both at slow speeds and at high speeds. And in terms of straight line stability, like I've mentioned earlier, I have only hit about 95 with my weight, absolutely flat out, and there too, no matter what the road surface, it just goes through stuff absolutely flat. So a good, fun, enjoyable scooter, and I think the ride and handling balance is a huge highlight for this and one of the strong reasons why you should consider buying this. Another thing about buying a family scooter is that no matter how much fun it is to ride or how comfortable it is a tool at the end of the day, a tool that will help you run your errands, a tool that will help you commute, maybe drop the kids to school, maybe go for grocery shopping in the evening, and so you don't really want to spend a fortune buying one. And the Destini is the cheapest 125cc scooter that you can buy, definitely cheaper than the likes of the Suzuki Access and the TVS N-Torq. So in that sense, the value equation that the Destini delivers is huge, and another really strong reason to consider buying one. And now let's talk about the negatives. Now, a few minutes back, we spoke about how this scooter has to be a tool because it's a family scooter. And as part of being a tool is that it needs to offer good stowage options to enhance its practicality, usability. And that's where the Destini starts to falter somewhat. We also told you that it doesn't get a fuel tank on the floorboard and that liberates that sort of space. But the downside of that is that the fuel tank is here, and that limits the amount of space that you have on offer. Now we've got, Rishabh's handed me a half-face helmet. It's not very big. It barely fits in, and now there's no space for anything else. Plus, it doesn't close. So I have to push it to close it. Maybe I'll damage my helmet, I don't know. But that sort of practicality is missing on the Destini. On the flip side, it's got this lovely bottle holder. I put my coffee mug in there and it stays my coffee tumbler. And I've also got a golden retriever at home and he manages to sit on the floorboard. So there is enough space in that sense, but the boot space needed to be better. Maybe Hero needs to rethink how they are going to utilize this space, because everybody, or at least the competition, has moved towards a really practical under-seat storage, and Destini needs that too. The other thing I don't like about the Destini 125 is its instrumentation. It's just too simple to look at, and even though it's got features like you can get trip 1, you can have the average fuel economy, the range, it's still a very basic looking thing. And on a scooter that is elaborate in a sense, in its design philosophy, you've got elements, design elements all around. Even on the footrest, you've got these trusses. So there's an attention to detail here, are all around the scooter in terms of design. But here, instrumentation, it's just too boring to look at, insignificant really. And talking about insignificant, this key, I mean, this is my pride of ownership, which is going to be, I'm going to use it every day, I'm going to touch and feel it. And this is so slim, so cheap looking. I think Hero needs to work on that too. These are your two negatives of the Destini. Like we said at the start, if you're in the market for a 125cc scooter and you're not considering the Destini, well, you are missing out on something. Now, it is the most affordable, but it's also high on style, on comfort, on ease of riding, involved riding, refinement, all of that. Yes, it is short on under-seat storage and it has a really boring looking instrument cluster, things that Hero needs to work on. But even then, even with those two shortcomings, overall as a package, it is definitely worth considering, especially when you factor in the fuel efficiency of the scooter as well, especially in the city. So if I was in the market for a 125, I would give the Destini 125 a serious consideration.